Hey guys, my name is X Factor and I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to some fresh Battlefield 1 content on the first night map called Nivelle Nights, as you see the moon and the stars in the background, which will be free to all premium users, available in June. And of course, if you have a friend or someone you could squad up which has premium, you'll be able to enter as well. More than likely, this is tied to Robert Nivelle, who is a French artillery officer, commander of the French 2nd Army in the Battle of Verdun. Something you should be familiar with by now, successfully rolling back the German forces in 1916. Shortly after Verdun, he became the commander-in-chief on the Western Front, and after a lack of success there, demoted. The first thing you notice when you start up a fresh run of Nivelle Nights is the start screen. This round just started, and we have our gimme flags. Those are the flags closest to your uncap. We have EF, they have AB. We're allowed to spawn there, allowing us to get to the middle of the map quicker and the action ensuing much faster. This was actually a nice change. Now, if they take D and blow you off E, of course you lose that flag and you're back at your uncap and F, or maybe you rotate it around C. But I found this a refreshing change. Instead of there being quite a bit of downtime to the start of the round, it was popping off within 30 to 45 seconds. The trench system on this map is massive and extremely intricate compared to previous Battlefield 1 maps, allowing you to move from flag to flag within cover, maybe get out of combat, stay in combat so squad members can spawn on you, but be very careful. I vaulted over, did not check playing from this elevated position, and notice there are 10 plus people coming from D to E, which normally will not work out. Moving through a somewhat open field, but what I figured out about this map is even though they seem open, they're really not. Look all around me. There is a ton of cover to play, whether it's the mounds of earth, the artillery shells, the cannons themselves, or the traditional massive hole in the ground in Battlefield 1, a foxhole of sorts that you are able to play. But just because the trench system exists doesn't mean you're not going to get shredded at the right angle. Now, usually when it comes to certain flags, there are multiple trenches that come in, but sometimes it's better to go to the somewhat open field, again, thanks to that topography, and of course artillery shells and anything else that may exist that can provide you cover. Usually the most predictable spot is the worst angle to push, or of course, if the vast majority of your team is pushing one spot, that's the last spot you want to be, because they're more than likely spotted, flared on the mini-map, and more than likely going to get flanked. Something like this. And here you can see some of the topography here with the massive holes in the ground that can provide cover. And that is a partial trench right there. The map flows extremely well. It is not choke pointy like some of the maps available in DLC right now. At no point in time while playing several rounds of this was a team stuck at a specific flag or their uncap. While this map is somewhat linear, the trench system allows you to get wide and protects you. These trenches just aren't by the flags. They're in the middle of the map as well, which allows you to get to spots that people simply can't see. You can set up, and then you can hose people as they're running to the next flag, whether it's capping or defending, or you could simply leak out like our squad's doing here to get to their A flag, their gimme flag, rather undetected as I eat a tripwire that I did not see. One of the coolest things available in CTE coming to vanilla soon is the interaction between the medic and a down player. Once I go down, a medic can look at my body, hit Q, and it lets me know that that medic is planning on making it over to me. Of course, I can pay attention to the death screen and see if they're getting closer or running farther away, or if they bite the big one. But it doesn't stop there. There's a massive call out. I actually have my settings to English only, so I can hear things like this.
I can patch you up!
So between the audio and the visual, this should be a much needed and welcome change to Battlefield 1, as one of the most infuriating things when playing the medic class is when people spam their release button the second they go down when the medic is right over their body. Can't tell you how many times it's happened to me. Go into a battle, survive, go to res 4 people, and 2 or 3 instantly release, causing us to get pushed on, and it might be limited numbers on our side, us getting wiped out. So hopefully that helps change some of that dynamic when it goes live in Battlefield 1. Nivelle Nights is going to be somewhat of a community effort as DICE is looking for feedback, and they're interested in several things that have really affected previous Battlefield 1 maps, including Soissons and some of the DLC stuff. The first thing they want to know is about the placement of conquest points. How do you feel that they play out the way they are now? The distance between conquest points. The size of the conquest point capture areas, as referred to earlier, something like Soissons, where there's multiple air vehicles per team, and several of those flags are the size of shoe boxes. As will be a coffin, because any grenade or multiple grenades or one pass from a bomber or trench fighter, and pretty much everybody perishes. Another thing that we want you to consider when playing this or watching footage is the layout of the main pass between conquest points. Whether it's the topography, whether it's artillery shells, the trenches themselves, or some of the spots that you can elevate on the trenches. Do they need more of those? Are they in the right spots? Another thing to consider is the nighttime visibility, which I think is pretty darn good for this map. I think they really nailed that. How about special conquest point setup? We've already talked about this in the beginning of the video. Teams will have pre-owned flags and special start of round spawns, meaning our gimme flags. That's something I'm really actually a fan of, because the vast majority of times, as a map of this size, your team gets their gimme flags, and it's off to the middle. This kind of speeds up the action, if you will. How about vehicles? Are there enough? Are they useful? Right now there's one tank and one horse. Would you like to see multiple horses, multiple tanks? I'm not really sure air vehicles would really work on this, because there's not really a lot to cover you from death from above on this map. Very few pillboxes and spots that you can hide. And the last major thing they're looking for input on is cover. I really like the way that the cover and topography is set up on this map. And think about it this way. If you're looking from F to maybe C in a straight line, the cover might be okay in certain spots. But DICE did a really good job of providing cover on the outskirts, allowing you to get outside of the straight line to get cross angles, set up crossfire, and really murder people who are just running in a straight line from E and F. This might be a way of DICE trying to slow down the Zerg mentality that tends to happen in Conquest with the vast majority of players. When they simply clump up, run from flag to flag in a straight line, then of course the enemy team does that as well, oftentimes being in the opposite direction. The last couple things we're going to talk about happen to be very hot and controversial topics. Gas spam, grenade spam, then of course ammo, as DICE is continuing to make tweaks that are available in CTE right now. One positive tweak they've made is the time in which it takes you to throw something. It's quite a bit longer than it used to be. Pay attention here. It's not longer an instant throw where you can get your gun up, ADS, and get in the gunfight. Maybe reducing some of the panic nades or people who nade first, shoot second. The question is, as you get some playtime in on CTE, is that enough? Then, of course, highly controversial is the new ammo system where you auto-replenish nades, and if you're buying a big bag, they come in even faster. But there is good news here, because DICE has provided a pause when you're in combat. If you're being shot at or suppressed, that pauses that auto-replenish timer, which again has been greatly increased. So if you're on the outskirts, if it's squad v squad, or if there's a couple guys, no longer are you dodging a ton of grenades just being out in the middle of nowhere. And if you're capping a flag, playing the objective, no longer are you seeing 7, 8, 9, 10 orbs of death all within a split second. Now, if the lines are drawn, if the sides are stagnant, if there are big bags out and people aren't stuck in combat, it's not paused, it can still be rather spammy, but at least it's not everywhere on the map. Another thing to take a look at is the actual ammo system as you see footage and get some playtime in CTE. One example is spawning in as a sniper. No longer do you have 2 flares, you have 1, and then when you get to a big bag, you'll be able to have a second one within a short period of time. Lastly, I think Nivelle Nights is an extremely well-designed map, and it's fun. Primarily for me, because it's infantry-centric, no planes, 1 tank, and 1 cavalry unit. There is tons of cover from flag to flag and on the outskirts as well. Very few open spots where you can't find cover within 5 to 10 meters, allowing you to take cover and maybe return fire and recover from multiple angles. The skybox is absolutely beautiful. You've got the moon on the one side, all the artillery fire, and of course the flames in the back of the map. this is a pretty good looking map. Again, DICE is looking for feedback. Make sure you guys check that out down below and be a part of that process. Enjoy the rest of the footage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys soon. Ooh, double lump.
Ammo! Pick it up!
Ooh. That's trench raider.
Ammo's got your name on it. You see him? Shock trooper.